If episode 3 of The Last of Us was a divergence to a slower paced, optimistic side of the zombie apocalypse, then episode 4 is a return to form as Joel and Ellie continue their journey to Wyoming in search for Joel's brother, Tommy. Again, the episode slightly diverges from the game while expanding on certain aspects that weren't explored in the game. Though one of the shorter episodes ending on a cliffhanger, there is a lot to take in, from this post-apocalyptic world to the exploration of a group of revolutionaries. The episode begins with Ellie exploring her new toy, a pistol she found at Bill and Frank's home. Though it seems odd a teenager with experience with firearms knows how to operate the pistol to a certain degree, later in the episode it is revealed Ellie had some firearm training when attending Fedra school back in Boston. Joe and Ellie stopped at an abandoned gas station on a highway in the middle of nowhere. I like this scene because it establishes the hardships of the apocalypse, such as that gasoline breaks down over time, thus salvaging gasoline from abandoned cars is a tedious process. We also get a funny line about how before the apocalypse people used to drive cars for hours without stopping, but they didn't really go anywhere despite this ability of long distance travel.
Back in the day, we'd drive 10-12 hours on one tank. Could go anywhere.
So where'd you go?
Pretty much nowhere.
Joe and Ellie continue to bond. Though it seems one-sided as Ellie tells bad puns and jokes, you can see the subtlety in Joe's expressions, how he does find amusement, yet he hides behind a stoic face. As they get back on the road, we learn how the military cleared out the main roads using trucks so their tanks could pass through. We get a funny scene of Ellie messing with Joel upon finding an explicit magazine.
Oh, put that back. That's not for kids.
How do you even walk around with that thing?
Please get rid of it.
Why are all these pages stuck together? I'm just with you.
During their drive, we get several views of different abandoned locations, such as an amusement park and a farm filled with wild buffalo. Along their drive, Ellie asks about Joel's brother, Tommy. Tommy always had a bit of a hero complex, wanting to, as Joel says, to save the world. How Tommy joined the military and the Fireflies, but never truly felt like a hero. Despite Joel being in his 50s, he still takes a role of the big brother trying to protect his little brother. Joe states he goes on because of his family, yet he only sees Ellie as cargo. Despite slowly bonding, he keeps a wall between them as to not get attached. After another funny scene,
I'm not even tired.
Joe and Ellie arrive at the outskirts of Kansas City. This is where the show again diverges from the show, for in the game, Joe and Ellie stopped in Pittsburgh rather than Kansas City. Though they had a straight shot to Wyoming, they are forced to detour through the city as the highway is blocked off. Because of Ellie's inexperience with reading a map, they get lost. Ellie notices that the walls to the Kansas City quarantine zone are open, and Fedra is nowhere to be seen. A man claiming to be wounded appears, but Joel knows the man is pretending and starts driving away. However, the wheels of the truck are damaged and he crashes. A gunfight takes place, and Joel quickly takes charge, telling Ellie to run and hide, not just as a means of protecting her, but so she doesn't witness him killing people. After Ellie successfully hides, Joel dispatches the two men firing at him, but a third shooter arrives and he manages to pin Joel. Using the gun she found, Ellie wounds the attacker and is immediately shocked. Joel takes the gun from her and tells her to hide again, once again shielding her from the brutality of killing. With the truck damaged, they abandon their supplies and search for an exit out of the city. Unlike the game, the show explores the attackers and their leader. Though we don't know all the details, it can be deciphered that a resistance within a Kansas City quarantine zone successfully overthrew Fedra and now control the city. Their leader is Kathleen, and she is searching for two boys, Sam and Henry. Despite her calm nature, Catherine proves she can be ruthless, such as killing someone she was interrogating and ordering resistance to search the city by force. Fun fact, Kathleen's second in command, Perry, played by Jeremy Pierce, was the voice actor for Tommy in the game. Joe and Ellie are hiding, waiting for an opening to escape. We get a touching scene between them as Joe expresses he wished Ellie shouldn't have had to kill his attacker, or at least wound him. Despite their differences in age and experience, they are not too different. Joel was a hardened survivor, and Ellie is a naive teenager, yet the act of killing weighs heavy on both of them. Ellie also reveals this wasn't the first time she had to kill someone. Joel decides to teach Ellie how to properly hold a pistol and allows her to keep the pistol she found. The Resistance finds where Sam and Henry were hiding, but only find empty food cans and childlike drawings on the walls. Kathleen believes they are close by, as they will soon have to get food. Perry reveals he found something else. In the basement of a building, something is forcing its way through the concrete floor, most likely the fungus. Kathleen decides to keep this a secret so the Resistance can focus on finding Sam and Henry. Joe and Ellie find an abandoned building to spend their night and plan to leave the city the next day. Despite an awkward conversation about them killing people and not having to kill people, Ellie lightens a mood with another bad joke.
Did you know diarrhea is hereditary? It runs in your genes.
That is so goddamn stupid.
You laughed, mother.
I didn't laugh.
Yes, you did.
For the first time, Joe embraces the amusement, showing that the wall between them is coming down and that he is in fact taking a liking to Ellie. Later that night, they are awoken by the arrival of Sam and Henry. I'm glad to see The Last of Us return to form in episode 4, as we explore another part of the world. The revolutionary force that attacks Joe and Ellie is expanded upon, and their leader is given a face. Despite being a resistance force that overthrew Fedra, the Resistance is not so different from their approach as they search for and eliminate anyone who is against them. We get further exploration of Joel and Ellie's relationship, how they are slowly bonding, and how they are not too different from each other. I also want to take a moment to admire the length the producers went into showing how ruined the world has become. I don't know how much of this is computer generated or practical, but I like how much effort went into the production design. This was something that I criticized in other post-apocalyptic shows, such as The Walking Dead. There was always a lack of establishing how much the world has degraded, and The Last of Us isn't afraid to take the time and visually show how the world is slowly and physically falling apart, with abandoned cars and tanks stretching for miles to vegetation overgrowing anywhere it can. Episode 4 is a short episode, and I do wish we got another 10 or 15 minutes, but the episode leaves enough to get me excited for what's to come next. Not to mention, HBO is streaming the episode 2 days earlier on HBO Max.
That's good. Intervention!
Please comment below, as I'd like to hear your own thoughts about episode 4. Don't forget to like and subscribe. My name is Deviant, and thanks for watching.